I'm now going to introduce Mr. Joel Szabat, the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Transportation Policy at the U.S. Department of Transportation. Mr. Szabat oversees the formulation of national transportation policy and promotes intermodal transportation. Mr. Szabat, I want to invite you to go ahead and give us some opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Schock, and members of the committee. First, on behalf of the Department of Transportation, my apologies to those veterans from the Virginia 2nd Congressional District who were stuck in traffic on their way up here. We'll see what we can do to fix the ride back when they go home. I am Joel Szabat, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Policy in the Department of Transportation. Secretary LaHood has named me co-lead of our Tiger team, which is in charge of overseeing the Department's role in the Recovery Act, in implementing the Recovery Act. Overall, the Department of Transportation gives twice as much of its business to small businesses compared to a typical government agency. Over half of DOT's direct contracting work, nearly $800 million out of $1.5 billion, went to women-owned or to small businesses, compared to a government-wide average of 22%. Preliminary data for fiscal year 2008 indicate that we've maintained that level. The Federal Aviation Administration is exempt from federal acquisition regulations and therefore not included in DOT's reports. However, FAA is an important part of our outreach to small businesses. FAA's direct contracting dollars are twice the size of the rest of DOT combined, and 40% of FAA's contracts go to small or to women-owned businesses. In every small business category, DOT and FAA far exceed the government-wide averages. DOT contracted 2.3% of its work to service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses, for example, more than double the government average. Service-disabled veterans, the most recently established category, is the only category for which DOT has not yet exceeded its target. Of even more significance to the small business community are the formula funds, especially for highway and transit programs, that we distribute to state and local transportation authorities. Over $35 billion in funds are distributed this way each year, generating $30 billion in contracting opportunities. Now, under the law that DOT has to operate under, which governs these programs, disadvantaged business enterprises are the only small businesses for which DOT can set goals. Veteran-owned businesses must separately qualify as DBEs in order to participate in this program. Through our work with our state and local partners, over $3.5 billion in contracts are steered annually towards two DBEs through our formula programs. Now, in addition to our normal formulas, the Recovery Act will provide $48.1 billion, and as the Chairman indicated, with the bulk of this money to be obligated within the next 18 months. For us, the bulk to be obligated within the next 12 months, and all of it to be obligated within 12 months, the bulk to be spent within 18. Most of this money will be distributed through formulas, and the existing laws that govern DOT programs apply. We can work to set targets for DBEs, but no other category of small businesses. We estimate that the formula fund programs in the Recovery Act will create at least another $3 billion in contracting opportunities for DBEs over the next 18 months. Bonding is an important challenge for DBEs in qualifying for government contracts. The Recovery Act establishes a small $20 million bonding assistance program within DOT. DOT's Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization has been working with SBA to craft a program that will minimize the cost and administrative overhead for DBE participants and maximize the number of companies that can benefit from their support. There are also future year opportunities for service-disabled veterans and other small businesses. The Recovery Act dedicates $8 billion for high-speed and intercity passenger rail and a few other smaller discretionary programs where the Department will have to craft business qualification criteria. President Obama has proposed an additional $1 billion a year annually for high-speed rail and $5 billion a year for an infrastructure bank focused primarily, if not solely, on transportation. We look forward to working with Congress to shape the laws that will govern small business participation in these programs. Most importantly, both the Surface Transportation Program and aviation programs were last reauthorized over 5 years ago, before federal standards for service-disabled veterans were set. This year, both of these programs are up for reauthorization, with, again, the promise of more than $30 billion a year in annual contracting opportunities. And again, we look forward to working with Congress to shape the laws that will govern small business participation in these programs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, and members of the committee.